When people use the expression, "a little birdie told me," what little birdie do you think they're referring to? Well, believe it or not, we finally have the answer. The little birdie in question, that is always telling everyone everything, is none other than Pyoro, who, if you're familiar with the WarioWare series, will recognize him as a little red bird who likes to stick out his tongue. But he is more famous for his second-to-life style as an infamous Nintendo leaker. Pyoro is a Twitter, or X, user who has been around for the last few Nintendo Directs, and he has been able to leak the context of them with 100% accuracy. He has yet to leak any false information, which is more than can be said for any other leaker. Most people who claim to be leakers are only after the internet fame and/or to be simply a troll. However, that does not appear to be either case with Pyoro. He appears to be a legit little bird who, despite being slightly cryptic sometimes, wants to share all the information with us. And so, I am thankful for Pyoro, for not only being brave enough, but for giving us the information that we so desperately crave, outside of when Nintendo finally decides to do it. But of course that begs two questions. Who is Pyoro, and how does he get his information? Theory number 1. Nintendo themselves. If someone is leaking information from a company, it's pretty easy to assume they might just be working at that company. I highly doubt this is the first case of someone with insider information who decides to leak it anonymously online. It is very probable that he is an employee at Nintendo, but of course, he may be allowed to do what he is doing. Nintendo themselves may be behind the Pyoro account. This was the theory that I thought to be true for a very long time. I thought surely Pyoro must be Nintendo themselves. To have the kind of information that he has, it just seemed the most likely. Nintendo was running this account on purpose to drive up hype for their next big directs. However, there is a piece of evidence that I think disproves this theory. The "I'm not excited" tweet. If Nintendo was trying to drive up the hype themselves, why would they say they weren't excited? If Pyoro was a secret account of Nintendo, there is absolutely no reason why they would say this. So Pyoro must be doing it against Nintendo's wishes. If he is an employee at Nintendo, I would really love to know what job he has. Is he an artist, a programmer, a manager? I think it is most likely though, whatever his job may be, it is very small. I do not think it is possible at all that someone like Eiji Aonuma or Shigeru Miyamoto is behind the Pyoro account. Whoever he is somewhere near the end of the process. Possibly a North American localizer, but that's about as big of a job that I think he has. Theory number 2. YouTube employee. There is a good chance also that he is not connected to Nintendo at all, but he gets his information from somewhere completely different, like YouTube. He may be in a position at YouTube where he can see videos before they are made public. That is one of the earliest theories that I remember hearing. And there could be some real evidence for that considering Nintendo reveals most of their information through YouTube videos. However, most of them are live streams, which is not something that would be uploaded beforehand and just made private. And even the videos that are uploaded beforehand are not going to be uploaded a week before the Direct, which is usually around the time Pyoro starts to leak some information. And I don't think Pyoro is receiving his information from the videos that get published after the Direct, because A, they're probably not even on there, and B, they're not going to be in the right order. But Pyoro does know in which order things are revealed. This tweet here is a hint at the Thousand Year Door remake. He says, "What will close this Direct?" as in a door closing. And Paper Mario The Thousand Year Door was the last thing shown off. Now of course if he is a YouTube employee who's able to view privated videos, why is he only leaking Nintendo content? Surely there are other companies besides Nintendo that use YouTube for major announcements. Apple perhaps? So let's move on to theory number 3. Hacker. It is also very likely that he doesn't work anywhere, and that he is receiving this information illegally. What exactly is he hacking into though? It could be a bunch of different things. It could be Nintendo themselves, it could be their private servers, it could be their website, it could be a whole host of different things. The pieces of evidence that I think disprove this theory is that Nintendo hasn't found a way to prevent it yet, and that no one else is doing it. It appears that only Pyoro knows how to hack that information. If he is receiving the information that way, I feel like Nintendo would have found a way to prevent it at this point. Theory number 4. Associate. This theory kind of goes along with the first one, however instead of Pyoro being the employee himself, he knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who works at Nintendo. There's not really any evidence to support this theory, but there isn't any evidence to disprove this theory. It's just up in the air right now. It could be true, It could not be true. There's no way to know without him saying it himself. But what has he said about the ways he receives information? Theory number 5. Genius. If we assume everything that Pyoro has said up to this point is 100% true, which it mostly has been, then he has already revealed how he gets his information. He says the world is a deduction of laws. If you know the laws, you can figure out what's going to be shown in a direct. That's all. So there we have it, straight from the horse's mouth. He's just doing what Sherlock Holmes does. Now, of course, this is a pretty ridiculous theory. I would believe Pyoro is Shigeru Miyamoto before I would believe he is just guessing. But Pyoro has given us a few other bits of information, which may be key in narrowing him down. Theory number 6. My conclusion. Pyoro has stated in response, probably jokingly, to the YouTube theory, saying this: since my uncle who works at YouTube can see all of Nintendo's privated videos, including the non-existent announcement video for Everybody Want to Switch, he must also have access to the upcoming, not pre-uploaded but live-streamed Nintendo Direct. Will ninjas get him by next week? And, okay, no more jokes. Everybody Want to Switch was not announced in a YouTube video. They wouldn't be stupid enough to upload trailers days before it goes public either. Nobody has access to the YouTube backend. And as far back as I can remember, Everybody Want to Switch was not announced in a YouTube video. So Pyoro is right once again. But because of what he has said here, I've come up with my conclusion. Pyoro obviously knows a little bit about how social media accounts work for companies. I'm sure this information is easy to find online and probably pretty obvious when you think about it, but how does Pyoro know no one has access to the YouTube backend? My belief is this: Pyoro, or someone that Pyoro knows, works for the social media management of Nintendo. And this would add up with the time frame in which Pyoro usually posts his leaks. I believe a little bit over a week or more before a Nintendo Direct is about to happen, I believe the marketing team hands over some of the more confidential information to the team that's purely in charge of managing their YouTube and other social media accounts. This means that Pyoro, or someone closely connected to Pyoro, would only have information that is closely connected to stuff that is about to be revealed. They don't have information about what's going to happen in a year, they don't have information about what's going to happen in a month, or even just 3 weeks. They only have access to the information that they have been given to upload to social media. And I think this also lines up with him, except for the one tweet, in how he's always very supportive in advertising when they're going to be having a Nintendo Direct. He is both advertising for it on the main account and his Pyoro account, meaning that when a Direct does get a lot of views because of the leaks, it looks like to Nintendo that the social media teams and the marketing teams have done a good job. And so that is how he's being benefited from these leaks. Because if you go to the Pyoro page, there are no links going anywhere. No YouTube channel, no Patreon, nothing. He is gaining nothing from this. He is only being successful in building hype. This theory also means that he is connected to both YouTube and Nintendo. It is a combination of the two. Now, of course, there is no way to know this for sure, but I just think looking at the patterns, the timing, what he has said, what he appears to know, this makes the most sense. I would really love to see him leak something further in the future. If he would leak something a year in advance, then yeah, he probably does know more than a social media manager might know. And of course, I don't know how much the social media team of Nintendo really does know. They may have access to a lot more information than I think. But let me know what your theories about Pyoro are, and what you think about my conclusion. Let me know in the comments if there's any information that you think I overlooked or read too much into. I may have missed something very obvious which completely debunks everything I've said. And finally, as much as I'd love to know who Pyoro is, I really hope that he doesn't get caught. Although he can be a little vague and slightly misleading sometimes, there is a slight charm to that. It's like we're solving riddles to find out what's going to be in the next Nintendo Direct. And that's pretty fun. Also, he didn't spoil the 1,000-year door because no one caught that that's what this meant. So I am very thankful for that. Pyoro truly is one of the greatest leakers of all time. And I guess all we can do is trust him, dude.